I want to talk to you about Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups. So, if you are an online instructor, if you are a mastermind group coordinator, if you are just trying to monetize your knowledge online, you have the possibility to actually choose a lot of platforms for community building. Okay. And when it comes to community building, actually, you have Mighty Networks and Facebook groups actually being two substitutes, two options for you. Okay. So, if we talk about Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups, you have to really understand is that Facebook groups is, those groups are free, right? The platform Facebook is free, okay? It's a social media giant that's well known around the world. You're talking about 2.3 billion users globally, okay? And so Facebook groups within Facebook, the platform, is actually a community building function, okay, that lives on the platform itself and actually lets community leaders set up groups around a common interest or cause. Okay, so this gives you a wall to share relevant content with your users, a list of who is in your group, and some community moderation and notification functions. So that's pretty good. That's for Facebook groups. What about Mighty Networks? Well, if you think about Mighty Networks, you are speaking about an all-in-one white label community platform that actually allows you to do a lot of things. You can teach courses, you can charge for membership, and you can really build a community. And what I love about Mighty Networks is that it really embraces the notion of 4 C's: content, courses, commerce, and community. So if you want to analyze Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups, you got to pay attention to a few things. How do you actually compare and contrast those two platforms? You want to look at the features. You want to look at scalability. When I say scalability, I'm speaking about room to grow, the possibility for you to grow your community, the possibility to draw in more members, the possibility to monetize your content, and to also monetize your brain, not just your content, your brain also, okay? The quality of community building that you have on either platform. Safety and security, right? When I say safety and security, I'm talking about the data, that your members' data, but also your own content, okay? And finally, monetization. How much or how deep can you monetize your content through Facebook groups versus Mighty Networks? So those are the 5 areas where I will compare and contrast Mighty Networks and Facebook, Mighty Networks to Facebook groups in today's conversation. So let me first talk to you about Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups. I want to look at the features. So what are the modules that are available on Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups? Okay, that's an important element to really understand. Now, if you talk about features, you want to look at user friendliness, because you can't just have features. If those features are not user friendly, you're just wasting your time, right? You're wasting your time because your members cannot really interact the way you want them to interact among themselves, but also interact with your content. Okay, so this is an important element. So when I say you want to pay attention to features, of course you want to pay attention to the possibility to create robust discussion spaces, but also to have the ability to have live streaming when the opportunity actually presents itself. Okay, so let me first talk to you about Facebook groups, and then I'll speak about Mighty Networks. So Facebook groups has a beautiful and well-designed platform and app. Of course, it's part of the Meta ecosystem. So that's a multi-billion-dollar company. So everything that you can really expect from Facebook groups is actually great because it's coming from a pretty a well-established company. Okay, so functionally, Facebook groups has a good forum setup where your users can create posts and comment on others' posts. And Facebook groups also has some options for embedding videos and a full suite of options for going live, including scheduling and inviting others into your live meeting, okay? But Facebook groups isn't as strong on some other features that make for actually a great online group. You don't really have management features for a large community, like dividing into spaces, subgroups, okay? And Facebook also doesn't have options for creating online courses, okay? And one thing I want you to really remember also, you are actually promoting Facebook, because Facebook doesn't give you the possibility to beef up your branding. And also, the platform doesn't give you options for customizing, okay, other than adding a feature and profile image. So if you're looking for styling a group to match your brand, especially if you're running a small business of some sort, this is a big miss, okay? What about Mighty Networks now? Let's talk about Mighty Networks. So Mighty Networks actually has the same features as Facebook groups, but the cool thing is that Mighty Networks has a ton of extra features that make building a community possible. Of course, Facebook is free. Mighty Networks is paid, so you're paying for stuff, but in return, you're getting something very good. So, for instance, on Mighty Networks, anyone in the community can create posts on discussion boards. You have live events with RSVPs, live streaming, and or a one-click Zoom integration. You can post live and recorded videos, images, and audio clips. You can have spaces, member profiles, and paid memberships. You can create polls, quizzes, and surveys. And you can utilize an activity feed feature that makes it possible for members to keep track of all the awesome content you're providing. So that's kind of cool, okay? So you have, with Mighty Networks, you have an all-in-one solution that can help you scale. Like you can go from 10 members all the way to 10,000 members. So let me expand a little bit on scalability that I just spoke about. So that's basically room to grow, right? So if you think about Facebook group, basically there is some potential, okay, as a space to grow huge communities. There are a lot of people there, and it's easy to join a community with a click of a button, right? But one of the drawbacks of a Facebook group is that it doesn't actually grow with you. The community you'll build for 10 people is the same as the community you would build for 10,000, okay? Although the platform lets you grow in numbers, it doesn't give you much to deal with the increase in complexity that comes with new members, especially a large influx of members. So again, Facebook groups wasn't built for community building to start with. It's built as part of a larger social media, right? So Facebook groups just happens to be one conduit, one feature among the tens of features on the platform. What about Mighty Networks? So Mighty Networks actually, like I said before, allows you to create your own spaces dedicated to specific interests or topics. For example, if you had a group of entrepreneurs, you could create subgroups for first-time entrepreneurs, people trying to learn sales, or people who need to understand how to hire employees, okay? All this might be topics that entrepreneurs need to learn about, but by creating these spaces, you can serve people where they're at, right? So, and the cool thing about Mighty Networks is that the spaces approach lets you choose from a bunch of different native features that you can turn on and off, or things like that, okay? Like things like chat, activity feed, events, and courses, okay? And so bottom line is you have the tools to craft your own ecosystem, right? It's all about creating something bespoke, something customized, okay? And what I love also is that Mighty Networks goes a little further because it gives you some types of analytics. It tells you what's working in your community and what really is not working, with an advanced community analytics dashboard, giving the data you need to understand how your community is growing, so that you actually don't lose track. Okay, you don't lose track of things and members in the process. Let's talk about the quality of community building. So if you look at Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups, you got to really understand that community building is actually at the forefront of both platforms. That's for sure. Okay. So on Facebook groups, you have flexibility, you have convenience, because you can get people into a Facebook community. It's pretty easy to join. Theoretically, they can jump into your group activities from anywhere using the app if they're waiting in line at the grocery store or at the park with their kids, right? That's what I meant by convenience. That's what I meant by flexibility. So now the problem with the community building options on Facebook is not the access, really. Because at the end of the day, you don't care about the access. You care about the algorithm working against you, because basically Facebook, let's just say Meta in general, wasn't built for community building, because your members, for instance, could theoretically access everything you do in the group, but the Facebook algorithm will make it hit or miss as to whether they will actually see things that happen. While there are different notification settings, the default is for Facebook to show your members random selections of group activity rather than everything. If you want them to have to see everything, Facebook group wasn't built for that. Now, the other challenge is that you have the level of distraction, right? You're competing with cat videos, political rants, and family vacation photos, not to mention the 14 or 100 other groups that your members actually join, right? So those things make it really difficult to build an engaged community on Facebook, okay? That's something to really think about it. What about Mighty Networks? So when we talk about Mighty Networks, of course, I will talk about the cost later one, but it's important that at least you have a focus, right? You have focus. So like Facebook, Mighty Networks gives you a platform your members can access anywhere, whether they're waiting in line for groceries or on the bus or in the subway. Now, the apps work great, letting your community members not only engage with posts, but also join meetings, take courses, and so much more, right? And but unlike Facebook, Mighty Networks also lets you create the right environment for your community to thrive. There is no distraction, right? And this includes an amazing notification system to let users know about new content, updates via email, and best of all, a dedicated community site with no ads or other posts. So the platform also gives you more ways to contact your members through dedicated individual and group messaging. So that's something to really remember. So let's talk about safety and security. So when you have a community or you're trying to build a community, you're trying to level up, you're trying to scale a community, you got to think about safety and security big time, okay? And so when you think about Facebook groups, you have a level of sophistication, right? Because it is part of the Meta platform. So Facebook groups are generally pretty secure in terms of access, with logins and security features to prevent hacks. As a major social media platform, Facebook commits to constantly evolving its security practices, and users mostly feel okay about logging on, right? Now, there are some issues with spam in Facebook groups. Although Facebook has built-in moderation features to help avoid this, you can also set clear group rules, so that's pretty good. Okay. Now, the bigger issue, if you think about it, the bigger issue with Facebook group is not about safety and security from hackers or outsiders. It's about safety from the platform itself. Okay, it's something to really think about, because every now and then you hear how Facebook is dealing with members' data, all that kind of stuff, right? And some members are not really comfortable. I mean, although Facebook is the free option, nothing is ever free, right? They monetize by using your members' data and selling ads with it. And more people are recognizing this and avoiding the platform altogether. So what about Mighty Networks? Well, Mighty Networks has a full set of security features, okay, including single sign-on options using Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Apple credentials. Or your users can create a unique account if they prefer, okay? But basically, unlike Facebook, Mighty Networks doesn't sell or share its user data, right? Because they're charging already for the platform every month, okay? So they don't need to monetize elsewhere. So most hosts and members feel comfortable using Mighty Networks actually as a result of that. So let's talk about monetization. So Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups. Let's talk about monetization. Now, so one thing you need to really understand here is that Facebook groups do have the potential to monetize in different ways, okay? But that comes with a huge caveat. They're really only for super large groups. If you want to charge a group membership fee, you will need 10,000 followers. If you want to create some great brand partnerships and earn that way, you will need 1,000 followers. So you always need to have a pretty significant number before you can actually think about monetizing, okay? So Facebook does allow you to charge for live events in some cases, so that is an option, but most of the monetization features are out of reach for the average creator. Like if you haven't reached 10,000 followers or even 1,000 followers, you can't monetize at all. Okay, that's a disadvantage, a big disadvantage. Because honestly, if you have even 10 followers, 10 members in your community, and they're very dedicated, you can start monetizing your content, your community, if you will. Okay, now that's what I love about Mighty Networks, because Mighty Networks has a ton of great monetization methods that work for every sized community. If you have a small community, if you have a micro community, if you have a large community, if you have a medium sized community, you can still monetize. Okay, so with Mighty Networks, you can charge a membership fee, either recurring or one time. You can charge in multiple local currencies, more than 100. You can charge with token gating. You can create subgroups and charge from them. You can charge for them. You can charge for courses. You can charge for events. Okay, so you can really literally just charge for anything you want to. Okay, and so also one thing I want to really understand here is that with Mighty Networks, you have the possibility as community host to monetize too. That means what? That means creators are getting paid what they are worth for their effort. Okay, that's really cool. So the option to charge access to your community, either through a monthly or yearly fee or token gating, is a game changer. Okay, so because that's the way for you to actually live from your craft. Okay, so if you want to monetize your community, definitely Mighty Networks is the way to go. They're charging you, but at least you are recouping your investment. So, in conclusion, if you think about Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups, the winner here is Mighty Networks. Now, of course, you can say what I think you should do here is to start with Facebook groups if you don't have the budget to actually invest in a community-oriented platform, like a real community platform such as Mighty Networks or Circle or others. If you don't want to spend money at the get go from the get go, go with Facebook groups. That way you can really see how things are working for you, like, and you can really compare and contrast. You can iterate. You can test things. Okay, do some trials and see what works. And then when you're ready and you have the money, it's just better to go to a professional community platform such as Mighty Networks or Circle or others. Okay, that way, because if you have a community platform, you're able to actually grow faster. Regardless of how many members you have, you can grow faster because you have very dedicated members, very dedicated users who are willing to interact with your content, but also interact with other users, okay, which you don't have on Facebook, unfortunately. You have that possibility. Users can interact with others, but there's, like I said before, there are so many distractions on, there is so much distractions on Facebook, that basically the algorithm is not really working for you, right? But if you want to actually have a dedicated space where your users can feel comfortable, can feel valued, can feel sort of let's say confident to grow with your brain, then it's just better to go with Mighty Networks. But the cool thing is that both platforms are pretty strong in terms of safety and security. Both platforms are they're also legit. Yeah, Mighty Networks is legit, and Facebook is legit. Facebook Groups is legit. So that's kind of cool. And by the way, Mighty Networks actually is part of the Mighty umbrella, the Mighty company. And in addition to Mighty Networks, you also have Mighty Pro, the premium version of the platform that actually can help you white label your own app. So if you decide to go with Mighty Networks, it's actually a little better because you can actually scale later if you want to. So as a recap into this conversation, I spoke to you about Mighty Networks versus Facebook groups. I looked at a few comparison criteria, okay, like features, room to grow, quality of community building, safety and security, and monetization. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.